Washington High School alumni site, www.milwaukeewashington100.com, and make a generous donation. Washington High School has been a part of the fabric of Milwaukee's community since 1911. Our graduates have gone on to be civic and business leaders at the local, state, and national levels. I would like to take a moment to highlight some of our alums who have made a difference over the years. After graduating from Washington in 1949, Wayne Swartz earned a degree from UW in agricultural engineering. He served our country as a first lieutenant in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineering. Later, he became a certified quality management engineer and systems auditor, working at Alice Chambers, Gale Company, and Braun Manufacturing. Wayne volunteered on the Washington High School Alumni Scholarship Foundation Board and with the Boy Scouts of America. Carl Chuck Global, a 1956 Washington High School graduate, Carl Global taught English in Glades Lake, Illinois, and at Waukesha Central. He later served as vice principal at Waukesha South and was the first principal of the newly opened Waukesha North High School. At the end of his career, he became the director of ASC, the Administrative and Supervisors Council of Milwaukee Public Schools. Chuck served as president of the Washington High School Alumni Scholarship Foundation, and he enjoys traveling, camping, music, and golf. Sandy Hoard, Sanford, Horowitz. Graduating in 1991, Sanford Horowitz was an author, book critic, and policy advisor to the foundations and nonprofit organizations. His book reviews and essays have appeared in the New York Times, the Washington Post, San Francisco Chronicles, and Chicago Tribune. In Washington, D.C., Sandy was a speechwriter for Judge Abner McZitka. He received his bachelor's and doctoral degree at the Northwestern University. Daisy Gray Levy. Graduating in 1979, Daisy Gray Levy had no idea she would make history in Wisconsin. Daisy Levy became a registered nurse, went on to earn her PhD, and in 2005 was hired as the first Black dean of nursing in Wisconsin at Milwaukee Area Technical College, MATC. He is currently an assistant professor for the Clinical Transitional Science Institute at the Medical College of Wisconsin. Katrina Crane, a 1993 Washington High School graduate, has led workforce planning and business services as the Director of Workforce and Business Solutions for the Milwaukee's Menominee Valley. In addition, she has served in several roles for Milwaukee Public Schools, several NAF academies, and Milwaukee apprenticeship teams. Katrina is also a current chairperson of the Washington High School Alumni Scholarship Foundation Scholarship Committee, overseeing the selection and allocation of annual scholarships. Dante Holmes. Graduating from Washington in 1994, Dante has used basketball to mentor thousands of young men over the past 25 years. In 2001, he opened a candy store in the heart of Milwaukee to give young people an alternative to other undesirable paths. He hopes to use this store to build relationships and promote inspiring conversations that lead to brighter futures. Nakia Harris Dodd. In 1994, Nakia Harris Dodd served graduating in 1994, I apologize. Nakia Harris Dodd served in the Washington State Legislation and the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors. She was elected to the Milwaukee Common Council in 2018. Among her platform is the need to have mental health professionals assist police officers as they work with persons suffering from mental health while in custody. She earned her master's degree in administrative leadership and educational policy from UWM and holds a certificate in nonprofit management. Raynel Washington, a 2000 graduate. Raynel was appointed to by the governor to chair the Wisconsin Housing and Economic Development Authority. Recognized as a Business Journal Top 100 Influential Finance Executive and a Milwaukee Business Journal 40 Under 40, Raynel received his bachelor's in finance and a certificate in real estate from UWM. Joel Census. Joel, a 2002 Washington High School graduate. Joel Census is a fundraising professional with more than 15 years of nonprofit experience. He currently serves as the Chief Development Officer at St. Jonas Antitas High School. Prior to that, he served as the Vice President of Development for the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Metro Milwaukee. Active in the community, Joel divides his time among several organizations, including the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Independence First, Arthritis Foundation, Washington High School Alumni Foundation, and others. Dr. George Hinton. Dr. George Hinton is the CEO of the Social Development Commission, SDC. The SDC operates programs that improve the quality of life for Milwaukee County's low-income residents. Dr. Hinton has built partnerships that advocate for people experiencing poverty, having experienced poverty himself. He has held executive leadership positions with the Children's Health System of Wisconsin and is president of Aurora Sinai Medical Center in Milwaukee. Before we get started, here's a few housekeeping announcements. To ensure the best sound quality, please keep your mics muted during the presentation. To mute your microphone, click on the mic icon in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. To unmute, just click on the mic again. Ms. Brown will be taking questions after her keynote speaks, so you'll have the opportunity to chime in then. Thank you.
Excuse me, can we just wait till we get the slideshow going? Because you're going ahead of everything. We haven't seen a thing.
Is Deborah still on?
I am. It says that I'm sharing. Are you not seeing it?
No, it's still on, and so it begins. That's what I have.
Yeah,
That's all I see.
it's not showing the slideshow. It's showing the PowerPoint image.
Yeah, it's showing the. We haven't seen a thing since at all that Tayotis has been talking about.
Oh, that's the wonderful thing about technology. It just wanted to hear me speak. Because the class of '93 takes over everything we do. We do it. So while Deborah is loading on, we will let you catch up to the class of '93. So Deborah, if you will please, we'll just start from the beginning and go from there. We won't reread, but we'll glance through.
Too fast.
Okay.
Oh, now it's coming.
So,
Yeah.
there you go. So let's just let it roll through.
Thank you.
I've read, now we'll give them the visual. Look at that handsome man right there. Our scholarship recipients. Please make sure that you donate because this goes towards our students. It gives us the opportunity to give back. Now we'll celebrate our alums. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Washington graduate. Let's just hold on to that 1993 one there. No, next slide, please. 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 And here's where we are. In the lower corner, there is a microphone icon. If you would please click that to make sure you are muted. You will know that you are muted because there will be a red slash through the microphone on the screen. Please check now. Thank you. So today's presentation includes some remarks from our scholarship recipients. First, our scholarship recipients will share the impact the scholarships have had on helping them achieve their goals. If you'd like to make contributions to continue to assist both of our graduates, please do so by visiting the Washington High School alum page and going to www.milwaukeewashington100.com. We will start with Miss Mirub Ifrin. If she would please unmute her mic and please share with us.
Hi everyone, this is Mirub Irfan, and I graduated in 2019. I'm grateful that I went to Washington High School because it really helped me build my confidence and all the leadership skills. Currently, I am a part of almost 6 organizations at Alverno. I am a leader there. I serve as the vice president for Alverno Student Government. I also started a new organization during COVID, which stands for Alverno Minds Over Matter. It was for mental health of my peers and to serve my peers because I knew a lot of people were struggling during COVID with mental health and all that isolation we had to go through. And I do a lot of great things. So yeah. The scholarship, the Washington High School Alumni Scholarship has been really grateful. I have been really grateful for that because it really helped me do all these leadership things I do at my college and outside of Alverno, because it gives me the time when I don't have to worry about working and getting a job. Like I do have jobs, but I don't have to work that many hours to fulfill the prices of books. Like I have to buy books and stuff for the every semester. So this gives me time that I need, and I can use that time to serve my peers and do all those great things. Recently, I have attended a conference in Washington, D.C. It was a national conference by American Medical Student Association. And I was able to use the funds that I received from the scholarship to travel. That was my first time traveling without my parents. It was a bit scary to think about at first, but I was like, I need to go because it's a great opportunity, and it was the first time we didn't have to be on Zoom, and it was in person. So I took an opportunity to go there, and it was a great experience. I met a lot of met and heard from great doctors, and I got to network with them, and I met my future colleagues and all these great resources I've received. I'm just so grateful for this. I'm grateful for the scholarship as well as being the alumni of Washington High School because it prepared me for the outside world, especially for college, Alverno College. And yeah, thank you.
Can't hear you, Tayotis. But I'm going to jump in really quick. I'm very, 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 very proud of Mirub. I know I'm not supposed to do this, just had to say that. Mary was one of our biggest scholarship recipients, and she received $12,000 from the Alumni Foundation, and she's doing amazing.
And that is, thank you, Katrina. That is because of the donations and support from the individuals like you donating to the Washington High School Alumni Foundation. Sharona was not able to join us today. As we know, getting your education does require sacrifice. So we just want to continue to support her. Now we're going to go to the young lady of the hour. I am going to go off script as well. I want to say, if it were not for Ms. Brown, I don't think I would have achieved the success that I have. I was scheduled to go to a different college. My dad and I got in the car and we drove off, and my mom burst into tears. And my dad, loving my mom so much, turned around and came back and said, "We can't do it." So we were touring. We were going to go tour the college. So I ran in Monday morning and said, "Ms. Brown, I don't have a college. I don't have a college. I don't have a college." Within an hour, I believe about an hour and a half, she called me to her office, and there was a young man by the name of Jimmy Johnstone. And we registered me for UWM right then and there. That's a sign of a person that is committed to making sure that every student she impacts or comes across is supported and able to meet their dreams or live their dreams. Ms. Brown, I know the class of '93, we adore you. We think very highly of you, and we often talk about you because of the great things that you have done for us. So it is an honor that you were willing to speak with us. And as you can see, a lot of us are on here truly because of what you have done and how you have impacted our lives. So with that being said, I would like to introduce Ms. Sue Brown, our guidance counselor, and I'll let her take it away at this time.
Good morning, Washington supporters, alumni, and students. After that wonderful introduction, I'll just straighten my halo, flap my wings, and head right to heaven. Thank you, Tayotis, for those kind and slightly exaggerated words. I'm not really a public speaker, and I'm not sure how Tayotis managed to talk me into this. But I'll confess, I'm pondering trying to talk Joe Kamak into working his computer magic and eliminating all records of Tayotis being a 1993 Washington High School graduate. Your days of being chairperson of Purgolders United could be nearing an end, Mr. Caldwell. Instead of speaking at graduations, I could be found behind the curtains on the side of the stage, giving hugs and trying to be sure that everyone was in the right place at the right time and behaving in a way that would make their parents proud. My best work at Washington took place in a small office and involved prodding, pushing, pleading, and occasionally poking. I was privileged to be a guidance counselor at Washington from 1989 to 1998 and helped launch two of Washington's finest, most famous, and most infamous classes, the class of 1993 and 1997. Many of these graduates have gone on to accomplish great things and to truly make a difference in the world. A few of them are still finding their way, and I hope they remember that it's never too late when you are a Washington alum. I am happy to report that a number of my former students are now teachers and administrators. Way to go, Tayotis, I'm so proud of you. I believe they were at least partially influenced by their positive experiences at Washington. The job of the entire Washington staff, counselors, teachers, administrators, aides, and coaches, was focused on preparing students for adulthood and for their lives after graduation. I like to think that every student knew that someone at Washington always had their back, no matter what. My role was to provide the support needed to help each student graduate and figure out what they wanted to pursue after graduation. The options were many: four-year colleges, both near and far from Milwaukee, 2-year junior colleges such as MATC, other associate degree programs and certificate programs, apprenticeships, the military, or immediate full-time employment. There are many paths with stops in between or detours along the way on the road to becoming an illustrious Washington alum. One key to success for many of these paths are scholarships. They help broaden opportunities and to allow students to focus on academics, which increases their chances of staying in school and graduating in a timely manner. I think the recipient of the Alumni Scholarship who spoke today did a great job explaining just how important and beneficial these scholarships are. There are many types of scholarships, and the best thing about them is that they are not loans, which have to be paid back. Many Washington students have been awarded academic and merit scholarships based on their accomplishments. Others have received athletic or special talent scholarships. There are also workplace scholarships, institutional scholarships, which vary greatly from school to school, and statewide and national scholarships. The alumni scholarships are important because the pool of applicants is limited by the number of students in the graduation class. Contrast this with national scholarships, like the Dr. Pepper, for example, where the number of applicants can be in the millions. Awarding alumni scholarships has a long and rich history and has truly made a difference in countless students' lives, and adequate funding is the key to helping even more students. I know Purgolders United would like all of you to empty your wallets and push your credit cards to their limits. And that is a noble goal, and I would encourage any and all donations, no matter how large or how small. The alumni scholarships cannot survive without your donations. It might help alumni to take a moment to remember some of their fun high school experiences at Washington. Exciting games, dances, pre-prom fashion shows, the senior class trip to Florida in 1997, which no doubt contributed to my hair turning white, pep rallies, plays, and concerts, to name a few. A walk down memory lane could help when deciding how much and how often to donate. I would also like to thank the current members of the scholarship committee who worked hard to make this meeting happen and who put countless hours into keeping the association alive. I'm happy to see there are 2 members of the class of 1993 on board, Katrina Crane and Tayotis Caldwell. But I wish there were more of you, and certainly the class of 1997 needs to become involved. I personally know some of them have very deep pockets. Lastly, I would like to mention one other important thing that everyone could do that won't really drain your pocketbook, and that is to mentor and to encourage current Washington students and alums who are still finding their way. In these hectic and turbulent times, we can all use a kind word and a friendly smile. In my career as a guidance counselor, I was always amazed at the variety of things and how even little things could make a big difference for a student. And as a bonus, when you have a relationship with a current or former student, pearls of wisdom can be dispensed free of charge at any time. Once you are part of the Washington family, you are there forever, and all of my former students will always be in my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown, for your inspiring words. As always, you leave us with something to think about. We have some time for Ms. Brown to answer some of your questions. Please enter your questions into the chat session. To use the chat function, click on the icon above the word chat at the bottom of your screen. I'll give you time to find that. And type in your questions, then press enter. Now we're going to give a time limit for this because we want to allow everybody's question to have the opportunity to be answered. We're going to set a timer. I'll ask if someone could do that for 10 minutes. We want to give 10 minutes to this opportunity, but please know that the opportunity to support our students in becoming post-high school, to have a post-high school experience does not expire. But Ms. Brown, who was a person that supported ensuring that students got scholarships, she could share with you her experience as well. So if you would please post your questions in the chat. One question from Donna, class of 1967. Ms. Brown, what kind of things are you doing now?
Right now, I am officially a retired person who is truly enjoying retirement, or I was before COVID. I refer to that as the past days, but I'm used to like to travel, and I used to like to mentor more students, and I have two granddaughters that I'm very involved with. So they're twins, and I have a lot of fun with them.
Thank you. We have a question from Marty Brown, class of 93 as well. 83, I apologize. Any particular anecdote from that 97 class trip to Florida that you can share with us?
Most of what happened in Florida should probably stay in Florida. The class of 1997 decided they wanted to take a class trip, and they had a core of students who worked very hard for 4 years, raising money so that it could actually happen. I learned about Aldi's and Sam's Club, and we did a lot of sales and marketing, and we managed to take, I want to say around 30 to 35 students made the trip during their spring break to Florida. And it was a grand time. We went in the ocean to Disney World. We stopped in Atlanta and toured Black colleges. It was a great trip, and they were sort of a class from the 1950s. I always thought there was Twilight music playing when they came.
We have a question. Thank you, ma'am. We have a question from Katrina Crane, class of 93. How challenging was it to manage a class of over 300 students, and what advice would you give a current counselor, as I would love to share with them when meeting with them?
Wow. I don't think there's a magic answer. I wish we had one counselor for every 100 students. That would be nice. I think I love the old system, and I truly don't know what they do now. We took a class from when they walked in the door as freshman babies, and we kept the same class all the way through graduation. I do think that that made it easier, only because you definitely knew them, and you had a strong relationship that developed after all of that time. I also think the fact that you got to meet with them individually and give them your full attention, even if it was just for that moment, was also helpful. I guess it's just a matter of listening and caring and working and sharing every bit of information that you can so that they have the most options possible.
Thank you. We have an apology from Mr. Greg Jones, class of 93. Hello, Ms. Brown. Craig Jones from 93. I apologize for starting your gray hair journey while during graduation.
That sounds like Greg Jones, who is just a little bit sassy, but a lot lovable. So
How you doing, Miss Brown?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. Thank you. You look amazing, by the way.
What dawned on me was that 1993 was really a long time ago. All of you are as old now as I was when I was your counselor.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Next year will be
Awesome.
our 30th.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
That's sort of unbelievable.
So now
it is.
we have a question. We have a question from a graduate of 1988, Sybil Robinson. Hi, Ms. Brown. It appears that you arrived after I graduated in 1998. I wish I could have worked with you in reviewing my career and college options. Can you please share how different the education culture was once you arrived versus how it was before you worked in your role as a guidance counselor?
Wow. I just think that Washington High School had a very positive culture, from the principal, Mr. Nelson, Mr. Brando, Ms. Connor, all the way down. I mean, all for the whole staff. I've been in other schools, and I truly believe when I said that about somebody having your back. And I'm not sure how that culture started or how it helped manifested itself, but it certainly was there. And I think that I think that's critical to success of everyone, teachers, administrators, students. If you have that positive culture of people truly caring about each other, that I believe makes a difference.
I agree. Thank you. Thank you so much for responding to my question.
I'm sorry I missed you, Sybil. We would have had a good time, I think.
You know, it sounds like, yeah, I should have known about you. So I had somebody to call.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Miss Brown, you didn't have to call. She was going to call you.
Yeah.
So we didn't have those issues. We had a mother in school that sat us down and said what we were going to do and how she wanted us to do it. And we did it.
Right.
And having that support was amazing. There were times that I didn't want to apply for scholarships, and she would call me to her office. I just got this in. I want you to apply for it. I'm like, Miss Brown, I'm really busy. No, you're going to sit here and you're going to do it, and I will review it afterwards. And how she made that kind of time for all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, again, and so with being on the board, you know, the classes now are actually a fraction of the size. They're like 70 or 80. So to realize that Miss Brown was able to do that in our class, the graduating class was 339, I think it was.
Yeah.
So the number of students she had to deal with compared to where they're at now, even though there's a lot of other conditions that are taking place now, but she made the time to support us. And so I think that our class, because of her, we're still very close. We get together almost annually, and we support each other.
Right, because I mean, you know, I could ask, you know, what was the name of the counselor whom you replaced? Do you even know who you replaced?
I think I replaced Mr. Champion, who retired.
Okay.
That was my counselor.
Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, he was really great too.
Okay.
He was also the swimming coach, and he didn't know how to swim.
Oh, wow. Now that's something.
He was a great counselor.
Okay.
One other thing to remember is that this was all pre-cell phones. So you could be dragged kicking and screaming into the guy. No, not that bad, but you could be encouraged to sit down and finish your scholarship, or you weren't leaving, because nobody was recording that on a cell phone and saying, she's picking on me. So I think we had a little bit more latitude in those days.
So as you can tell, we have entered our next phase, and we're going to ask if we could just You all are doing wonderfully, and I enjoy this. We want to give you some trivia to see how well you know Washington High School. So we'll have some time after this for a little networking and continue conversations, because I can see there are going to be great conversations that are going to contribute to greater amounts of money being given to our scholarships to raise money as we raise money for our students. Ms. Brown, I'll ask that you look at the chat, because there are so many comments of thank yous and acknowledgments of the great things that you have done. So at this time, we're going to jump to our trivia round. I hope that you are ready. This will let us know how well you know your high school. So we'll go to the first question. And before we do that, we're going to let you know that we're going to ask that you put your answer in the chat. As stated before, the chat box is below, and you'll type in the information, and then we will see your answer. As all educators ask any questions at this time regarding the chat box. As I would say to my students, going once, going twice, let's start. Gene Wilder graduated from Washington High School in 1951. What was his name when attending Washington High School? Was it Herb Cole, Jerome Silberman, Arlie Schartz, I apologize, Arlie Schartz, or Greg Lehman? Please place your answer in the chat. Do 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 do. You didn't know I could sing. Class of '93, we could do a lot of things. Do 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 do. Done. If you selected B, George Silberman, you are correct. Next question.
Jerome.
I said George. I got the last name right. Which two of the following alum made an impact on the business of sports? I'll read the question again. Which two of the following alums made an impact on the business of sports? Raynel Washington, Alan Bud Selig, Lyle Blackman, or Senator Herb Cole? Please select your answer. Do 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 do. Done. If you selected Bud Selig and Senator Herb Cole, you were correct. Next question, please. Mr. Schartz was principal from 1946 to 1966, but he was also an Olympic gold medalist. In what sporting event did he earn a gold medal in Olympics? A, weightlifting, B, pole vaulting, C, swimming, or D, track and field? I won't sing this time. We'll try something different. And the answer is D, track and field. How are you doing? Hopefully you're getting them all right. Next question, please. Washington High School opened in September of 1911. In what year did the first class graduate? A, 1912, B, 1914, C, 1915, or D, 1916? Think carefully. The answer is C, 1915. Now here's a fun fact. The first class to graduate from the building was in 1917. I'll let you talk to Miss Linda Dunberg if she would like to share why 1917, the first graduating class from the building.
Well, I just want to say about 1915, because I see a lot of people put A. The reason being that it's 1915 is that when they started in 1911, they only had a certain number of students and they were all freshmen. So then you figure then the next year they were sophomores. And so by 1915, they ended up being the first graduating class. And then in the first graduating class from 1917 was because the building was built then. So so everybody started going to the building now in September of 1916. So the first graduating class from the building was the following year, 1917, of June of 1917, or actually January or February, because they had split semesters. Okay.
Now, Linda, if you could please answer a question first, as we're looking at the picture. If you're like me, that's not Washington High School.
No,
please explain.
That's a picture of the barracks. Because they, while they were building the school, they were over on 38th Street at 38th Street School. There were barracks that were built in the playground area, and that's what we saw at the very beginning when we were going through some of the slideshow stuff. It showed pictures of the barracks, and so from 1911 to up to 1916, they went to school in these barracks. And so that's a picture of the whole school. That's the whole school at the time, standing outside one of the barracks. The building behind that barrack there, that's 38th Street School. And we do have one of the pictures that we had earlier. You can see the building of Washington in the background, several blocks 5 blocks down. So
yeah, they actually started the building, the Washington High School, current Washington High School building, in 1914, and it took a little over about 2 years to make that building. It was a good sized building for its time. And
the pictures that show the construction show horse and buggy yet, and maybe a few really old cars, Model T cars and stuff. So that's interesting.
Thank you so much for that. Let's go to our next question. In what year did the Washington High School girls basketball team three-peat? Was it A, 1971, 72, and 73? B, 1979, 1980, and 81? C, 1987, 1988, 1989, or D, 1994, 1995, or 1996? Please place your answer in the chat. And the answer is D, 1994, 1995, and 1996. I hope you're doing well so far. Now we have our final question, our last question. What year did the Washington High School girls and boys basketball team win state championship? A, 1975, B, 1983, C, 1990, or D, 2001? Please place your answer in the chat. And the answer is 1990. Excellent job.
Wow.
Now it's time for a little networking. Thanks again to everyone for participating in today's virtual program, and a special thank you to Ms. Sue Brown for her outstanding presentation. Thank you to the young lady, Ms. Mirub Ifran, also for speaking. We hope you all enjoyed our time together and we can be together in person next year for this annual event. Again, if you haven't already done so, please consider making a generous contribution to the Washington High School Funds. It's easy, and your contribution will make a difference in a young person's life. Just click the link in the chat and Google Milwaukee High School alumni to reach the website. Then click the donation button on the right side of the home page. We'd love to hear what you thought of today's events. Please click on the link in the chat. Share your feedback. And for those of you who are unable to click the link for today's survey, we'll send you the link in an email. Your comments will help us plan future activities like this one. On behalf of the committee, on behalf of the Washington High School Alumni Foundation, we'd like to thank you for the time you took out to work with us today, to support us, to help us make the lives of our students better as they go post-secondary. Without you, we could not make this happen. Please take this time while we are here to let's just talk and fellowship with each other and make this a great experience. I'll start off. Ms. Brown, you are awesome. I appreciate you. I adore you. You're great. Thank you.
Isn't that nice?
Anything anyone would like to say?
Thank you, Tayotis. You are
Miss Bell is trying to talk, I think, but we can't hear her.
Wait. Sorry.
Miss Bell is on. Oh,
Yep.
Miss Bell.
Oh, Miss Bell. Oh, sorry.
Hi, Miss Bell.
Who's Miss Bell? Who's
Okay,
Miss?
well, since everyone's quiet, I will say this. Katrina Crane forced me to join this committee. Katrina has a habit of forcing people to do things. Class of 93, you know, a lot of things we did was because Katrina told us to do it. I was on the pre-prom fashion show. My person left. I didn't want to go on. Katrina told me to go on, so I went anyway. One day I get a call from Katrina, hey, there's this wonderful committee I want you to be a part of. And I was like, oh, I got a lot of things going on. The next thing I know, I get a text with a date and a address. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. And I go, and now I'm a part of a wonderful committee that has really shown me a lot of what behind the scenes to support our students have done. So Katrina, I want to publicly thank you for that. Just being able to reconnect with everyone and see people who have not seen or talked to in years has been awesome.
Wow.
I also see that Miss H is on here. Miss H's grandson attends my school.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Oops, my picture disappeared. I don't know what happened. Oh, I touched the wrong thing. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Winnie.
And Mr. Caldwell is one heck of a principal. I had 2 grandchildren go through Holmes Elementary, and they did a wonderful job at his school. And I enjoy seeing him and rubbing shoulders with the staff and the students over there. So I'm so proud of you, Mr. Caldwell.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Brown, I wanted to say something. This is Latrice Everett Robinson. And I want to say thank you for being such a great guidance counselor and just a person. And all of our kids are out of school now, but the guidance counselors there hated to see me when I came, because I was like, you need to have books, you need to have flyers, you need to have all this stuff that you gave us that my kids didn't have. So anytime something happened, they would say, is your mother coming up here? My kids would be like, yep. So they hated to see me, but I advocated for my kids like you advocated for us. So thank you so much.
Oh, Latrice, I'm so happy to hear that. Go for it. Keep fighting the fight.
And our Washington High School baby, the one I had, did not go to college, but she has a great job. But my other two that we have, one is a senior at Platteville for mechanical engineering, and our baby, who will be 20 next month, goes to Kentucky State for nursing. So thank you, because you was a part of that too. You didn't know it, but you were.
Congratulations, Latrice. What a wonderful story. I love it.
Thanks.
And I think that the class of 93 had to each other, because we were connected. And I'm not saying other classes weren't, but I can speak for the class that I lived for the 4 years. We did a lot together. We really spent a lot of time connecting, and that commitment is still evident today. When we see each other, it's as if we have not lost any time. It can be weeks, months, and for some it has been years, but you just reconnect, and it's as if we have not reconnected. When Ms. Brown, going back to Ms. Brown again, when she attended our in-person event, for me, it was emotional. Because to see the person that had made a difference in my life was like, wow. My wife was like, why are you crying? I'm like, you just don't understand. I wouldn't be the awesome person that you're married if it wasn't for her. Your blessings are this young lady right here. She's like, oh, okay, then I understand now.
She is the reason that I came on today, because I haven't had any sleep. We've driven back from a kid from Kentucky. I'm tired. I got to grade papers because I'm also an instructor at UWM. But when I seen Ms. Brown last night, I was like, oh, where's the email? Where's the email? I got to jump on because I wanted to see Ms. Brown. I love everybody, but I had to see Ms. Brown.
Wonderful.
And we get that all the time. I'm actually shocked that there's not a ton more. If only you know how often I get asked, do you see Ms. Brown? Do you know how to connect to Ms. Brown? Can I just tell her how I feel, what she's done for me, how she's, what she's been in my life? And our class, I mean, just honestly, constantly, that's always been this thing. And we definitely appreciate all that you've offered. And again, we just had many. We were lucky. I'm not going to say again any other class, but Miss Brown was just monumental. But then we also had our, Mr. Nelson was amazing, and gosh, if I could just name, I mean, Miss Todd. I mean, Miss Todd, like Miss Bell, like there was so many. We actually, Miss H. I mean, when I say that our classes, especially in those early 90s. And I have to constantly humble myself as working as the chair for the committee, because I realize all the supports that we had and how much things have kind of changed a little bit. But at the same time, it hasn't, because when we interview those kids, what we constantly still hear is how much those kids love Washington and what they receive from their administrators. So to hear that every year when we interview gives me such joy. I mean, and it makes me say, okay, I'm going to do this one more year. And I've been on here. And like Latrice stated, my daughter is just finished her first year at Marquette. She had gotten a full tuition scholarship for Marquette. And I really say that my teaching of her, I constantly think of things Ms. Brown put in me, how to research scholarships, how to apply, and because she didn't necessarily get a lot of that at school. And I was able to say, this is what I was taught. And that was 20 years ago. So, it was just impactful to help her get to where she's gotten. And I'm really thankful. We really had a great full picture when it came to administration.
Wonderful.
Which is part of the reason a lot of us went into the fields that we did, because we felt the impact in our lives and we wanted to make that impact in others, because there was someone that we actually experienced it with. When we often meet and talk, there are several teachers that we still speak of, several Washington High School staff members that we all commonly speak of. I call them the Divine 12. That's how I've listed them. And it's because of the great work that they did to support us. Again, Ms. Brown had no idea I wasn't going to go out of state, because I had planned to go out of state. I was going to run away from Milwaukee. But to be able to walk into the room in the morning and say, I have nothing, and then to find out later on this person has made a contact, and here I am filling out papers to enroll, that's commitment. And that's why we need to continue the Washington High School Alumni Scholarships, because we need students to experience that. We are that advocate that Ms. Brown was for us as a scholarship committee. We are saying there is funding available. We're here to support you. We're here to guide you. We're here to work with you through that process so that you can have that experience. So in X amount of years, you can reflect and say, these individuals supported us. So please, if you have not donated, I'm going to ask again that you be very generous in your donating, because as you can see from our conversations, there is an impact. There's a great impact and there is a benefit from it, something that's long lasting. When I became an educator, I was told, reach one. As long as you can reach one, you're doing well. Well, I think Ms. Brown is a testament that she reached millions generationally. So if you could please just join us in that. And I don't want to keep anyone unnecessarily, but I believe in what we are doing. I believe in the commitment that we have. And the reason for being is because of those donations, that commitment. Miss Katrina, the opportunities and time she takes out of her day to support our students and making sure that they're successful, not only once they graduate, but throughout their college or post-secondary experience, could not be done if it were not for events like this to raise funds to help students move forward. So I won't keep you. I will say thank you for your time. If you would like to stay on and continue to have conversations with each other, please do. Other than that, I will bid you an awesome, wonderful, and prosperous, joyful farewell. Thank you for attending. Next year, please bring 5 people with you so that we can have a even more successful event. If there are any questions or comments at this time, please unmute yourselves and we'll answer as best we can.
I was going to ask, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Freda Bell. Once again, hello, Sue. I am into mentoring new teachers, but they are dropping out. After one semester or 1 year, they decide, no, this isn't for me. Is there anything you think I could tell them to encourage them to stay with it when they are good? When they're good, but those that are not cut out to be teachers, you know who they are. But there are some that just get discouraged, but I know they have it in them to go ahead and teach. Ms. Brown, you were an excellent counselor. How would you counsel new adults or adults coming into the teaching field, brand new?
Wow, the ones with the sparkly eyes who truly believe in what they're doing, we just can't afford to lose them. I think it's hard right now because I don't think they're getting a lot of support in the world for their teaching or appreciation for what they're doing. Well, I guess all you can do for it is just, keep encouraging and keep, having them watch for that one moment when they reach a student. Once you have a few of those moments, you're more likely to stay in the field, don't you think? I think so.
I will do that. That's something special, that moment, that
Right.
aha moment. I'll try to remember to tell them that, look for that sparkle in their eyes when they catch on to something, and you will be gratified. That's good. I didn't think of that. Thank you. And it's great seeing you. Great seeing you. You look so good.
I think everyone here needs to really talk up the field of education and teachers, because teachers the last 10 years have been demonized, to be honest, politically. And we need to really support, especially those young people that are going into education, by saying how important teachers are, and support them in every way possible, just in passing, talking to friends,
That's great. I just don't want to lose that next Susan Brown.
Right.
The best thing we can do often, I was the dean of the School of Education at Pitt for 16 years, is give them experiences, give them a chance to tutor, give them a chance to work with a kid, give them a chance to have those rewarding moments that convince people that this is the kind of life's work they want to be doing. That's just really critical, and they don't have to be. Doesn't have to be in a real classroom initially. It doesn't have to be all that formal initially, but any chance to just work with a kid and get that experience of having made a difference really, really helps.
So maybe
Thank
you know,
you.
we shared an experience at Rufus King. You and I and a whole bunch of others taught there, and that was that culture was kind of, you know, we generated that for ourselves for the few years. I don't know how many years you were there, but I was there 6. I think you were there 3 or 4 years before you moved on. And I know that we had over there we generated a kind of an interesting culture. Of course, we were all in our early 20s at that time, and the whole school, the school was in a big changeover mode. But you know, maybe you know, there might be some things there that allowed us to succeed with the kids that we had there in the early 70s. Do you remember much about our experiences there? Other than the partying.
I think that that's true, is that if the staff does a lot of things together, or if maybe if a group of people who are training to be teachers has some social time to support each other, I think that was critical. I mean, that maybe it's because we were all young and that was our whole lives at the time, practically, right? I mean, yeah. But I do think that whole camaraderie it is a factor, and I hope that staffs are still able to do that and to get together and to commiserate and to share ideas. That was a big factor, even though I can remember a lot of swearing that took place. I definitely remember using a few choice words, maybe because we were all young. But I do remember that, but it was, a group makes a big difference, I think.
I have always said when I meet with my new teachers and this is their first year, don't walk in trying to create a miracle. Give students moments. They need those moments where they see you in your truth. Because my first year as a teacher, I was not the best. Because what I learned in the book was not truly the experience. But it was because of the teachers that I connected myself with. And I was very selective in who I connected myself with because I wanted to be successful, that I learned, take it day by day. And don't look for a miracle. Make those moments matter. Students remember moments. Students remember when teachers showed them genuine concern and care. Your first year is your first year. I'm not looking for you to be stellar. I'm not looking for you to be great. I'm looking for you to build a relationship with those students that make them want to see you, because they're going to learn, but they're going to learn from someone who they feel truly wants them to be successful. I've had teachers that I've had to say, you're not in this for the benefit of children. You're in this for the benefit of the dollar, and I can't have you do that to my babies, because these are not machines. We can't program them incorrectly and then just push them to the side. What you're teaching them is going to be long lasting. So my experience has always been, I as a principal, I meet with my teachers often, especially if they're new. I block out time. If they need to come in and vent, need to come in and just ask what's going on, or say, I'm not having a great day today, I let them know that's okay. I'm not looking for you to be perfect. I'm looking for you to be present. And in that presence, it'll get better. A lot of our teachers are walking in thinking they're going to be the teachers that they experience. not understanding that those teachers had years of experience and they've walked through some of the trials that the present or current teacher is walking through. Also understanding that education as a belief system, education as a family expectation has changed. Not to say that we don't want our children to be better, but we also have to work with our families. And we have to also teach our families now why it's important. So I love my babies. I love them. I think I've spoiled them. They get too much of my attention, I think. But it's because of what you all that were at the high school level, at my middle school level, at my elementary school level, that's what you all did for us. You gave us that time during the school day. You gave us that time where academics were important, yes, but to be able to have those conversations with you, so it wasn't mechanical. It was those relationships. I mean, Miss Bell, math. I hated math. I hated math. Oh my God, you don't know how if you knew how much I hated math, but because of the relationship we had, I loved learning math in your class. Miss Brown, I was a horrible writer. Horrible. But because of your commitment to making sure that I sat and did that application the correct way, and my commitment to wanting to make sure I was making you pleased, that's what I did. Miss H, when you used to call me in your office and talk to me about not doing what, yeah, I was called to the office. Stop looking like that, Craig. Yes, I was called to the office. And those conversations we had, but that was because of the care. You know, that's the part I think we don't teach, but it probably should be a part of the curriculum in becoming a teacher, is that you got to care about these kids. You have to have a heart and live those challenges, because it's going to be challenging, but it's those challenges that create the great people that we have now. It's not supposed to be easy. This is not an easy career. Teaching is not easy because you're dealing with so many different personalities in school, and they're influenced by the personalities outside of school. So there are a lot of challenges in place. So it's not for the weak. And if you find that if you can't be that committed, then it's okay. It's okay. But our teachers have to give that time. That time is very important, because our children need it now. They need it more than ever now, because they're not getting it in other aspects. And they're really just crying out for help. It's really a cry for help because they don't know how to walk up to a teacher and say, I need help, or I don't know, because we've not taught them to do that. As you can tell, I'm an educator because I talk a lot. Let me stop.
And just bodies being there in the building. I know with COVID, you know, it's been impossible for people to volunteer in be in the classroom as support. But I found, and especially with young teachers, and I had an excuse to do it because I have grandkids in the system, but I would go in and just be in the classroom with my grandkid. But also I would go back and volunteer in a couple young teachers that I thought I really enjoyed working with. But just being there, I didn't do any big tutoring thing. I listened to kids. I brought plants into Mr. Caldwell's building and had kids help me water plants. But just another adult in the building supporting both the staff and talking to the kids means a lot, because, you know, schools are so short-staffed. So anyway, we as people can get into the buildings to make ourselves known that we're interested in kids and interested in supporting young teachers, old teachers, in between teachers, administrators. I think that really makes a big difference.
I really like your moments rather than miracles, Tayotis. There's a lot of truth in that. The moments are what's important.
And I learned that the hard way, but this is not the platform to tell you that on.
We all learned it the hard way, didn't we?
Right.
When we first got in the classroom, we learned, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I apologize to my first class as I see them. If they say what year I started teaching in '98. So when they say oh, you were my teacher in '98, I said, oh, I'm very sorry. I apologize. Please forgive me. So, but I want to thank everyone for this wonderful opportunity for logging on. I'm going to bid us farewell. Ask again that you donate. As you can see from the conversations, the commitment to making sure our students, our future leaders are able to get what they need is very much present, and it's a reality. So again, if you have not donated, I encourage you to please donate. Sir, ma'am, please give to the Washington High School alumni, because it does benefit our students. It's not sitting there. It actually goes towards making sure that they are able to be successful in their future endeavors. There are a lot of behind the scenes that goes in place to make sure our recipients are supported beyond the past high school. So we need your help in making sure that happens. So thank you so much. Have a great day. If you have not gotten out to get some air, please get out and get some air, because being on a computer for 4 hours could be interesting. And we will see you again soon. Again, I ask that you bring 5 people with you to the next event. Let them know, bring their checkbooks, their and other forms of payment, because we're going to ask. We're going to put it out there on the table. We're going to ask. And we will see you again soon. Please take care, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, good to see you, Tim.
Yep.
And Tim Jr.,
Take
tell your
care,
son
Ms. Brown.
hello. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
bye, Tim. Sorry, I meant to say this before. Good to see you.
Isn't it wonderful? Good. Thank you.
Okay, everyone on Mr. Kamak, Donna, I am going to log off. Maybe we should set up a time to just debrief. Unfortunately, I can't do it at this very moment.
Sure.
But we can set up a time soon. We'll talk via email.
Yeah, I'll check with you, Tayotis, to see what your calendar looks like. I know you're winding up school right now. So,
Yeah.
but nice job.
Thank you. Thank you. So I will talk with you all later.
Okay, thanks, Tayotis.
All right. Bye-bye.